Hello there, meandidraws here. Today I have something different compared to my usual content on this channel. I asked Antonio, the creator of Artwod, my favorite art learning platform because I learned so much from it, to do this interview, to have a conversation with me. I do have a lot of admiration for Antonio. I definitely admire his teaching abilities. I look up to him in sense of the art that he makes. I definitely am really inspired by the work he does, and I do have a lot of respect for him. I wanted to have this conversation with him to ask about the plans, the future plans for the ArtWad community. Yeah, without any further ado, I want to jump into the interview. Let's go. So how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Busy, but good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Been better, but I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay.
Okay.
Um, I just wanna, I kind of like see you as like a mentor, even though we didn't like do one-on-one mentorship. But it's like some sort of a parasocial relationship where I watch your videos, and I still feel like your student, art student. And yeah, it's really cool that you said yes to do this call with me, and I'm really thankful, and it's an honor.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Pleasure's all mine.
Yeah. So I want to talk about Artwad, because this is your. I guess it's like at this point is your number one priority, right?
Yeah, it's the sole priority right
Sole
now.
priority.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would like to ask you first about Artwad, then maybe about a little bit more about yourself. But yeah, at first, let's talk about Artwad. So, what are the plans for 2025 for Artwad?
Um, I think well, going from where we came, ArtWad sort of started as a side hustle, I'd say. Um, I I built ArtWad just to give people a place to go to properly learn the workout method, Or what I like about I'm a CrossFit enthusiast, that's no secret. And I love the phrase like stronger than yesterday or work on your weaknesses. And sort of I put it up as a side hustle because I had Sketch Studio. And over time I was in this like tension field of having two companies that ran pretty well.
Hmm.
And then I had a mentor, and he was like, "Okay, what are you gonna do? I'm like, gonna run both? You can't run both really well. Remember that, right? You have to run one, and you have to let the other one be ran, basically. Like you can have two companies, but you cannot run both companies."
Yeah.
So that got me thinking. I was like, "What is my priority? What do I love doing?" After working for 5, 6 odd years in the industry, and I was like, I love sharing knowledge. I don't know why, but I love sharing knowledge. I love things that I learn. I love to share that with people. So that's why I wanted to continue with ArtWad. And 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 that sort of made me realize all the things I was doing wrong with ArtWad as soon as I gave it my number one priority, which is a weird thing, right? But
Hmm.
if it's a side hustle, this is where I have to thank my mentor. If it's a side hustle, it's just like as long as it's running, as long as the website isn't down, we're doing okay. Um, but as soon as it becomes a priority, I had a complete mind shift of what I wanted to do with ArtWad, and that's sort of it started in 2024, and it will come into fruition in 2025 of really simplifying the user experience, the product as a whole, as like if people if people sign up to Artwad or they just want to use Artwad, it's a seamless experience. It's like easy to understand, it's fun to follow, it's educational and insightful at the same time. So a lot of, things that we need to tackle.
Yeah.
But we have a really good roadmap of getting there now, which we sort of plan in 2024, and we're now going to roll out in 2025. So that's essentially a very long-winded answer to get to the point of where do we want to take it in 2025. That's sort of the idea, is to really elevate the user experience and have more people know about Artwad. That's why we love working with guys like you, Solius, is because you've used it, you know the benefits of it, and we only want people that have used it to promote it, essentially, and like it.
Yeah.
So that's the plan.
Yeah, I mean, truly, I really like it, and I truly believe it's the best online art learning platform. And
Thank
to
you.
me, I'm not even like promoting anything because I don't have to like say anything that I don't believe in myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, promoting is still like, I'm still like recommending it to people, so that's cool. But yeah, personally, it's like a really easy thing to. I'm also like really appreciative that you let me do that affiliate thing. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. No, I love that we are able to do this with people like you. That's what
yeah,
I like about, or that's what I love about the art community, is it's always you you have to earn the art community. You know what I'm saying? It's very easy to launch a product and promote it, market it. I say very easy. It's never easy, but it's easier in other industries. If I I always tell people, like, I've researched, I've learned, I've grown so much as an individual, also as an entrepreneur. And I keep telling people, if I wanted to be rich, I'd do an entire different industry, because
yeah,
it's much easier to launch a product, let it promote, market it, do influencer market, etc., etc. But you have to earn the art community, because they come from a place of passion, and you can never, you have to be careful that you don't kill the passion when people use your platform. When they learn, you don't want them to be following something and then, like, they sort of get sick of art, or they don't like it. So in order for them to want to promote things, it has to come from, like, inherently that they actually love using it. It's not like you cannot, almost, you cannot, how do I say that, have an artist promote something they don't believe in. It's very hard. Like, it's in the art community, that's very hard to do, which I love about the art community. And that's why I want to work with people that use Artwad and that actually genuinely like it, because the way they will recommend it to people that will in turn also like it, because they have the same mindset of how they want to learn things.
yeah,
So that's what I really like about, working with guys like you.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and I really agree with that. That as that an art industry is like it comes from a genuine place. So
Yeah.
if you're recommending something that is not really genuine to you, that is not really working to you, like if I started like recommending Great Shadow Legends mobile
Yeah,
video game
exactly.
on my YouTube channel that I don't really play, and I say, oh, I play this game, you can join my team and whatever, that wouldn't work. I mean, maybe I'll get the quick cash for the sponsorship, but it's just a short term thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I was really surprised that you said that you started uh, focusing on Artwad as your like main thing on 2024, because I was a student since like I don't know 2022, maybe even maybe 2023, but the Artwad for me was like really cool even at that time. So was there something that people weren't like okay, not okay with, but like, was there something that at that time other students were struggling with that you needed to improve?
Um, the the goal for Artwad is to show people how much fun you can have with drawing, and how easy, quote unquote, no, how simple the process, not easy, of course, but how simple it actually can be to learn drawing either from imagination or what you see, which also needs to have a certain level of being able to draw from imagination, as you know, from our beginner roads. But I've created this, I created a seemingly simple process that wasn't really apparent on Artwad at the time. There was like the fabric, the DNA was there, but it wasn't obvious in the user experience. So only the people like more like yourself, or like people that are really, really dedicated, that what we call are willing to suffer, could see the joy and the benefit of Artwad. But that's not for everyone. And there's so many people that want to learn how to draw that don't necessarily have, what we might call that grind mentality, or maybe have like 8 hours a day to spend on their art. And
Yeah,
so that's where I saw a huge problem. A problem in the sense that I want to make people, I want to give them faster senses of progression so that they can see that it's not about talent. It's not about that grind mentality. It's just about the consistency that you can build into your art training. And we needed Artwad to better facilitate that in the user experience. And that was lacking completely, because even I didn't understand that at the time. I was a professional artist. I was an art director. I had my own studio, and I was doing Artwad on the side. So when I gave people assignments, there was an implied level of this is how you do it, but it wasn't really written out. And the
yeah,
people that were on my level, and when I say my level, mindset level, people like you and other aspiring artists, they understood that to some degree, but
yeah,
most people didn't, and that's why a lot of people came to Artwad. They did Artwad for a brief moment, but then they left because they couldn't catch up, let's say, with that mentality.
yeah, yeah,
And that's something I didn't like, because for me it wasn't, and I want to stipulate that Artwad is no longer about making you a professional artist. That's not to
mm,
say you cannot be a professional artist. It's just like, we're not going to do that grind 8 week, this is the industry standard. We're going to have you be consistent and have fun with art, and really understand how you can build up those fundamentals on a daily basis,
yeah.
because ultimately that will pay dividends whether you want to be a professional or not. And that's my goal, and that's what I want to, how I want to build Artwad.
Awesome, awesome. I do agree with you, because like whenever I started Artwad, like in 2022 maybe, or 2023, I definitely had that, hardcore vibe, and I was like, I've gotten like a very concept arty, vibe from Artwad. I don't know, but to me it wasn't really hard to do like 100 boxes or
Yeah.
whatever. And I remember even like I watched your first video on the YouTube channel, or maybe a few, not the first, but one of the first ones, and you did a video where you assigned people on your YouTube channel with like 50 pages of boxes, 50 pages of cylinders, 50 pages, and like all that stuff. Like it's to me, like that is hardcore. And now we going to from the middle point where it's 2022 Artwad, and now it's like more quick, um successions of dopamine to keep you going, and it's really cool. I like it. It's not that I don't like it, and I'm not saying like I really like the roadmap. I did the roadmap myself, a beginner one, and I do definitely like it because it's like you do these like quick successions of art doing, I don't know, and it gives you like the XP rewards, the badges you get. It's really fun, and it hasn't been done at least to my knowledge to anywhere else as far as art learning goes. So that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no one's doing it like we're doing. That is by design, of course.
Hmm.
We will get copied, as we've been copied before, but we now have such a clear long-term goal of where we want to bring art learning that we're not really too concerned about competition. Um, but it's also about what you said about the YouTube, the 50 pages, and like I did that, right? I did those 50 pages. I did all of that. But the I don't want to call it a problem, but it is a problem. Like for people that are more recreational, that want to learn how to draw, and maybe eventually it turns into a profession, or it turns into a side hustle. Or it just turns into a really fun hobby. Um, those 50 pages of cylinders will feel mind-numbingly grueling if you don't know why you're doing them. And so, and that's what you said. It was very correct. In 2022, ArtWad was this very concept arty sort of environment because everyone understood this is why I'm doing it. I'm grinding through these 50 pages to get to that concept art job. And in order to get that concept art job, I need to have that spatial awareness, and I need to just draw cylinders because Antonio said so, right?
Yeah.
Um, Now, I think it's very important for people that want to learn, even looking back at the people that are aspiring pros, if you better understand why you're doing a certain thing, it will click much faster.
Mm.
And this is why in our roadmap, when you see these small progressions, that is exactly built in. Um, Not as sort of a dopamine hit. Of course, it gives a dopamine hit, but it's like understanding where you're going and having a sense of progression every time you go along to understand, like, hey, I'm drawing this cylinder so that I can turn it eventually into a plane or into a table leg or something. Um, so that you start making these connections between what is the fundamentals and what is a real life application. And we want to make that as straightforward and as easy to understand as possible, so that people want to continue, and not because a lot of people give up at cylinders. They give
Yeah,
up
yeah.
at cylinders because
Cylinders
they're
are
like,
hard.
why the F am I doing this, right? But if you understand why you're doing it, and you're seeing like, oh, a lot of people in the ArtWad community already said this. Like, now I'm suddenly starting seeing cylinders and boxes everywhere, Antonio, thanks to you. And
Yeah,
and that's what we want to facilitate. That's like, yeah, and it's that easy. But you have to have a visual cue of progression when you learn.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's very true. It's cool that you have like and that's why it's called roadmaps, because you probably right, because you do see, you can like quickly, and I do that a lot. I quickly just press on what is coming ahead, and then I see, okay, I will do this later. I'll
Yeah.
do that later, and you see what if you do that, you'll be able to do another thing. So that's cool. If you
Yeah.
do learn how to draw a cylinder, you'll be able to draw a tire for a car or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and
And that's
that's
the
pretty cool.
difference. That's the difference in what, let's say you take like a CGMA course or something, right?
Yeah,
What they do is it's not bad teaching, but what they do is they compact everything you need to know for that certain topic in 8 weeks, and you get feedback on that. The way that works is like you get all of this compounded knowledge in 8 weeks, And then the implication is that you keep applying it for years till you get to the level of the teacher you had in that lesson, right? Or you do your own thing. It's like you have to sort of do that very, very intensive boot camp almost, and keep consistently backtracking to it as you go along, as you learn.
Yeah.
Now, this is a very self-directed way of learning. What we do is we take not 8 weeks, but we stretch it into the actual amount of time it would take you. We shorten it a little bit because you get a very structured way of learning, but we take you along for that learning the entire time. So ArtWad's always there for you. It's not like, hey, you just got this for 8 weeks, now do it on your own. Which is, it's not a bad thing, but it's a very different way of learning. And I think a lot of people need that sort of elongated roadmap. That's why we call it that, exactly.
Yeah, and it's really cool that in the roadmap feature you have the correct answer after you do the assignment, because you can correct yourself. I hope everybody else that is doing the roadmaps are actually applying the feedback that they got from the assignment. Yeah, but yeah, it's really to me. Yeah, I remember when I was doing Drawbox, and at the very beginning, before ArtWad, of my art journey, I was doing Drawbox, and I told my mom I'm like drawing $250. She said like, "Why are you doing this? Like, it's not what you want to do." Like, and she didn't have that connection, and that's cool that you provide that connection now, for everybody that's want to learn. Yeah. So you are planning to expand on the roadmaps, right?
Yes.
On 2025.
Very much.
Yeah. Any? Can you like say what roadmaps are we like? You don't want to spoil it?
I can mention a couple of them. We'll definitely have a more intermediate perspective one for the people that started understanding spatial awareness from beginner road, that then want to take that further and really start having a grasp on drawing buildings and some really easy to understand structures in space, but in a more elaborate way.
Yeah.
We'll do a shading one as well, on how to give form to objects and how to better understand that. And we'll definitely expand upon the figure ones, and we'll also expand on, we have portraiture. I'll have to look because we mapped it all out. But yeah, we'll definitely do the shading one. Will be a very important one because that will eventually move into the painting. For people to understand shading.
Yeah. Will you do any courses though in the future?
No.
Oh, but you mentioned the animation course. I remember
the animatics course.
Yeah, the animatics. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we'll launch it. We have it, but it no longer really fits within the ArtWad DNA. And what I mean by that is we have that focus on bringing people to a really good level of drawing.
Yeah.
And then people need to either sort of, they can continue drawing, but they either go in a professional route or they keep having fun with art as a hobby. Now, all the people that want to go into a professional route, they won't only use ArtWad, and they never will use any one particular program. If you're a professional, you'll try to gain as much knowledge as you can from any source you can that fits your goal to get to a professional level. Now, we no longer want to sort of be part of that, in the sense that we want to be the baseline for everyone. And I said this in a previous podcast, I think. When we look back at and you've gone through this as well. When you first were starting to look up how do I learn how to draw, etc., etc. All of these different resources came up, and one of them for sure was Lumix.
Yeah,
It's always these things that you heard of.
yeah,
It's a Lumix method or like Riley rhythms, or there's definitely some things that always keep coming back.
yeah,
For me, that's the goal. That in 50 years, when people look up learning how to draw, ArtWad is among those lists. Is among, Lumix and almost like masters, but in a sense like the go-to resource to start your art journey.
got it.
It's not about the destination of being a professional. It's like, hey, I want to learn how to draw. Where do I start? And then ArtWad is among that list.
But you do want to, like, carry them through a professional level, or not really anymore.
It's we want so we want everyone to have a professional understanding of drawing.
Yeah,
It's no longer will give you very niche. In the roadmap, there will be advanced roads that will be character design and etc., etc., that are a little bit more niche. But the goal is to give everyone that baseline, because we constantly see professional artists coming back to ArtWad because they
yeah,
understand the value of the fundamentals.
yeah,
And this is the difference in teaching that even a lot of students don't understand. Is there's baseline teaching and there's specificity, and you cannot really do both really well. What I mean by this is, for instance, a resource I hate is like Skillshare, right? It does
yeah,
neither really well. So there's like 5,000 courses on there, and some of them are beginners, some of them are advanced, quote unquote, and like if you don't know where to start, it's a mess.
yeah,
And there's just some that do specificity really good, like let's say CGMA, right? There's like very specific, very tailored, professional need, niche to the core. And that's really good for aspiring professionals that need to go there. But there's no one that is really doing the baseline really, really well. In a sense, taking you through the entire journey and keeping that baseline. And that's what ArtWad aspires to be. It's like the fabric for everyone that wants to have a good understanding of drawing, painting eventually, and then coming back to that as well. Because that's ultimately what you need. The secret to getting really good, any professional level, is not doing the specific things. It's keeping the baseline really well maintained all the time and learning, like micro-learning new things along the way. And then you can, I can go and take a CGMA course and almost instantly understand it because I have a very good baseline understanding. But ArtWad no longer wants to facilitate those very specific courses.
yeah. So when you talk about the baseline, do you mean like training as a generalist, or not really? Because I remember you mentioned before in some video that you said that it's better to, as an art learner, to train as a generalist, right?
Yeah.
So is it similar what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's a good point you bring up. Yes, it's a bit like training as a generalist, in the sense that there are fundamental skills that will be present in any specific thing you do.
Yeah.
So that is perspective, spatial awareness, form manipulation, shading, composition. All of these things are baselines that are present everywhere. And when you understand those baselines, it's like seeing the Matrix. You can essentially apply it everywhere. So yeah, good point. So yeah, for us, it's like train like a generalist.
Yeah.
Not
personally
train to be a generalist. That's a different thing, right? It's not training to be a generalist. Train like a generalist so that you can specialize wherever you want. That's very important. And I think like for someone like you may have witnessed this or experienced this before, is when you're an aspiring professional or you're a starting hobbyist, you have a certain vision of where you want to be as an artist. But sometimes along your training, you're seeing that you love something completely different, much more than what you set out to be. And this is where training like a generalist will really help you, because you'll start to understand everything you need to understand, and then suddenly your affinity for things you actually really enjoy drawing or painting will surface, and you'll be able to follow the right path instead of hyper focusing on that one dream outcome you sort of saw because you thought it was cool, and you forced yourself into a path you actually don't want to go. Because I see this with a lot of students.
Yep. I personally had that experience because at first I was really into like cartoony stuff, and like I had this like style, very thick outline style that I had, but there was no fundamental knowledge in where the lighting is coming from, whatever. And during my art learning process, my taste changed so much. Like I don't really like that stuff anymore. I personally enjoy even like a thinner line, you know, way more. Even some paintings. I'm probably not gonna become a painter, but I want to learn painting so I can incorporate those fundamental techniques into the line art style, you know, as well. So
and it might change even more, Solius. It might change even more. And the reason for that is actually, if you get to, I hate saying my level, but if you get to a professional level or you get above that or you whatever, the people I look up to, for instance, the guys I look up to, like a Jesper Esching, a Kim Young-gi, you know, Karl Kopinski, what sets them apart is not the result of their art. We enjoy that result, but what sets them apart is that they found a process that works so well for them. That's all they do. And they enjoy that. They love that process. And what a lot of beginners, when they start out, is they love or they aspire to the end result. Just like you know, the cartoons, like, oh, I want to do that. That's an end result. It's not a process. And then suddenly you're finding like, hey, the process to do cartoons is really not my process. I don't like it. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're not gonna do cartoons, but it's just like that thing I looked up to, I don't like how I need to get there. For instance, I really love some like photo bashed concept art. Like sometimes I love the way it looks. I hate the process, like to the core. I would never put myself through that. And that's how I started to realize, like, it's the process that really matters. Do I enjoy it? Is it meditative for me? Can I really do this over and over and over and over again and perfect that process? The end result will take care of itself. That's sort of what is incredibly important to remember when you start out as an artist, when you're, you know, an intermediate artist, when you're an advanced artist. You move more and more into like, what process do I enjoy, instead of what result do I enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a journey to knowing yourself within the process, within knowing what is fun for you, what do you enjoy. Do you have patience to do like long illustrations, or do you like short bits of just quick designs, you know? There's difference in these things, and I think it's like even like something like innate that most of us, you know, have inside of us, and we just need to unravel it through learning, through experience.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
All right, so do you have enough time, or do you have
I
like
have my 5 more minutes? Yeah, sure.
5 more minutes. All right. Okay. I wanted to ask you know, about maybe for the students, for beginners, a question. What would you tell younger beginner artists who feel down because of recent events in the industry for the last 3 years? What would you recommend them to, you know?
Most of what I just said, like, the starting point, enjoying that learning journey, focusing on that baseline first and foremost, and then finding a process you really enjoy. Because especially now, authenticity is gonna reign much more than
Yes.
if you can mimic a certain style, I
Yeah.
sometimes got jobs in my early careers because I could mimic certain artists. Like, that is going to go away more and more because there's so much available. AI isn't helping, but
Yeah.
the authenticity of what you produce and the process you enjoy to get there, that will always speak volumes, and that will create a demand for your art that will be sought after. It will be more specific. So you might do, let's say you might do fewer projects if you really want to sell your art or your style, but the projects will be more rewarding. They will usually be longer because you'll do them from start to finish, etc., etc. So I wouldn't I wouldn't worry too much. I'd be aware, always be aware of what the market is doing, of how it's moving. You have to be aware of what are studios looking for, and now more specific than ever, right? If we're going into this professional advice, if I have to wear that mentor hat
Yeah.
right now, I'll be a lot more strict. It's like, you have to be aware of the market. You have to be aware of what are the companies doing, what are they actively looking for, what is their hiring process, etc., etc. If you want to be employed, then you have to incorporate this into your research. I recently gave a talk about selling yourself, and artists are horrible at selling themselves. Okay,
Yeah, that's true.
they're horrible at it, and that's something you'll have to do as well. One of the things that I told during the talk, and I was like, oh yeah, shit, is like they're clueless about the market they're in, actually. So, and what I mean by that is, like, there's two markets, right? There's more, but there's two markets. There's B2B and there's B2C. There's business to consumer and there's business to business. Now,
Mm.
artists don't often realize that they're in the business to business industry.
Yeah.
They're a business selling to a business. The clue is all of their efforts go to B2C products: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. That's B2C. If you want to do B2B, you have to do events, mailing, cold calls, getting meetings with people. That's how you get jobs, right? And that's how when you work on your skill, you work on your authenticity, it's easier to sell yourself, but you still have to do that process of selling yourself in a business market. So if you want to increase those chances, then you have to be kind of a businessman. I know artists hate that word, but it's true. It's
Yeah, I hate
true.
that word as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's true. And most of your favorite artists, whether it's in music or somewhere else, they actually are pretty good at business as well.
Yeah, you have to know how to sell yourself. And I mean, it actually comes to confidence at some point.
Yes.
You have to be confident in yourself. No one wants to see you like, oh man, my art is bad, but please give me a job.
Yeah, Solius, this is so amazing. So before the talk, I was in the event, and a lot of people want to come show their portfolio to me, right? Goes to about selling yourself. Now, if you want to sell your product, right? Let's say I'm selling a beverage. If I sell it like an artist, this is how an artist sells their beverage, right? The portfolio is their
Yeah.
beverage. Yeah, it's still a work in progress. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to look at this. I'm not really proud of it. Like, who's gonna buy that beverage? No one, right? You have to be proud of what you're selling, even if it's not yet the best thing. You have to acknowledge that there are room for improvement, but you have to be proud of what you did and how you accomplished it. And that's because ultimately when I hire someone, and this is something people need to keep in the back of their mind as well. When a company is hiring someone, they're not necessarily looking only at skill, at hard skill.
Yeah.
They're most of the time actually, they're looking at what I call intensity, which is the passion for what you do. Because if that is there, it's very easy to make that person up their skill in no time. Especially within your company, because it's a very focused, the things they need to do. There'll be people around them that can learn them those specific skills. But if they're not passionate or proud about what they do, I mean, it's going to be very hard to teach them new things, and it's going to take a longer time. So always look at like intensity and passion of someone that is doing a certain skill.
Yeah, that's of course, yeah, that's very true. Like to me, intensity and the passion thing, like you have to be passionate about something that you do. How do you want to someone to like, okay, I want to hire you, but I'll just show up, 9 to 5, I'll just do my thing and then I walk out. I don't really care about the project that you're doing. And to me, I was like at some point, I got some calls doing NFT game or some stuff I didn't want to do, and I was like that. Like I'm not really passionate about that, and I said it,
Yeah.
and I didn't get the job, and it's fine that I didn't get the job. I didn't want the job, but that's what you get. This is totally fine.
Yeah, and you'll be amazed how many artists give off that vibe with companies they actually want to work at, and
because they want to be humble.
Exactly, they want to be humble, but it's a lot of the times it's to their own detriment.
Yes, and it's hard, you hard to maintain that balance between being confident and arrogant. And they don't want to. I understand the artists because they don't want to show up as like, oh, I know everything, because that's not true. But it's always, you can always ask for feedback and also at the same time be proud of what you do.
Yeah, and but it's not only for artists. So, and this is important. I'll tell you, for instance, our CTO, right, our Chief Technological Officer, when he looks for a developer, he looks for the exact same thing. So when he looks for a developer, he's looking at a guy, when they have a talk, is like, what have you done in your spare time? Like, and then the people we hired so far is like guys that they're having like side project of things they developed, they've tinkered in that because they just love development. It's their world. They love doing it. They're busy with it. It's not only their job that they focus on, laser focused, and only the job, only the 9 to 5, and then after hours, it's like, I don't give a shit about development. Because you want people that are passionate about what they do in every aspect of a skill, of an industry, of a business. So artists most artists are very passionate. They just don't communicate that they're passionate. And that's often a problem.
Yeah, so how they would go about communicating that?
Yeah, train your communication skills. It's what I said in the talk as well. Like, most artists train every day to get to a professional level, but they never train the way they communicate to land or to sell their product. And that's something you can learn it in many, many ways. You can do public speaking classes. You can literally just start a social media channel, even if you hate it, to learn articulation and vocabulary, right? If you I've showed this in the talk. If you watch the first video I ever made for Artwod versus how I communicate now, is a world of difference.
Yeah, I
And
watched the first video that you did.
there you go. It's like,
Yeah.
I really like,
It wasn't that bad.
it was very bad. It's like, but when people like, and when artists watch it, they're like, oh, but I really like that you're so humble and this, and like, yeah, that's fine. But no one wants to buy something from a guy who's like, I don't really know, because you're not speaking with confidence, right? And that's important. You have to learn to speak with confidence, which you can cheat, by the way. Like, I'm an introvert. I'm still an introvert. I just fake extroversion and
Yeah,
confidence.
yeah.
So,
I think it has a lot to do with the imposter syndrome as well. But and the imposter syndrome, in my opinion, just comes from, how do I say this? It comes from within. It comes from, the thing is, like, yeah, it definitely has something to do with imposter syndrome and just not being, confident and yeah, yeah. It's just,
but imposter
I
syndrome
lost my
never
train
goes
of
away.
thought. I think it does.
No, 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 no,
No.
no, Solis.
Yeah.
It never goes away. Like on every level, every artist you look up to the biggest stars, they all have imposter syndrome. All of them. It's just how you deal with it.
Yeah. How you think about how you deal with it. Yeah. I
And
guess it's
also
just
like
like
that thing
knowing
about,
yourself.
exactly, about knowing yourself, and also about enjoying the process. Because even if I have imposter syndrome, if I still enjoy the process of what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
I won't judge myself so hard on the result. But if you're only result focused and you have imposter syndrome, oh, you're gonna have a bad time. Because
Yeah.
the only thing you're gonna do is you're gonna make something, look at the result, and then compare it to other people because you have imposter syndrome. Whereas if you enjoyed the process, what other people did is not as important or as intimidating, because you're thinking about the process they went through to get there, and you have your process. So that makes it made the world of difference for me as well. It's
Yeah. So
why I
it's,
stopped
yeah.
painting, by the way, or like rendering, is because
Oh.
I love drawing. It's like there's nothing when I'm drawing, I'm zoned out, I'm in a meditative state, I love what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm painting, I'm over analyzing, thinking about the result, and I'm not enjoying myself.
Yeah. And that's good because, like, through the process, you actually know yourself. And
Yeah.
maybe we can see a sketchbook tour of yours. Someday.
Maybe you can come
I
to
would
the
like that.
studio and go through it with me.
I mean, if it's an invitation, I will definitely accept it. Yeah. So, look, Antonio, thank you so much for doing this call with me. I don't want to waste any more of your time. Not that it's a waste of time, but
No,
you're a busy
absolutely
man.
not. Busy,
You're
yeah.
a CEO. I'm talking with the
Yeah, that's
CEO,
just a
guys.
title.
Yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, you're still an artist,
An artist, yeah. An
an
introverted
an,
artist.
ama- an amazing introverted artist who
Thank you.
conquered this introverted thing and became more of an extrovert, I guess. No, you're still an introvert. But yeah, thank you so much for doing this with me. Again, I definitely see you as like my mentor, even though you aren't one-on-one mentor to me. And maybe I think many of the ArtWad students look at you the same way. And yeah, I will try to maybe do a portrait of you to put it in the thumbnail for the
Okay.
video, and
Nice.
you can give me feedback and tell me if it's trash or not. If it's trash, I will
Yeah.
figure something else.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, yeah. So, and thank you guys for watching. I'm looking at the camera. Thank you guys so much for watching. Join Artwad. There's a special discount that I have with my link. You can check it out and see what we were talking about for the last 48 minutes. So yeah, that's it. Any last words?
I know. Awesome. Thank you, Salius, for bringing me here, for loving and using Artwad. I really, really appreciate it. Sometimes people, what you said about being a CEO, I don't want to people to regard it as like a company. I see
Yeah,
everything that goes on in Artwod. I see all the feedback. I see the negative and the positive, and it's like it's not like it affects me in a bad way or something, but I am there. I love and appreciate when people love something we do. Like
yeah,
we celebrate that, like all the positive feedback on the roadmaps and everything. We celebrate that with the team because it's the team accomplishment.
yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much for promoting Artwad, and also congrats on your art journey, man. You're doing fantastic, both in your music and art. So that's really cool to see. That's
Thank you so
you're
much.
you're a
Maybe,
double artist.
yeah, thank you. I want to like combine those two things because I don't want to do two things separately. So I really want to do an animation project for the music, and I think I'm gonna do it. But yeah, I still feel like I want to do all the courses first. I hope you don't remove the courses at least at 2025
No, not
because
yet.
yeah, okay, don't remove it because I still need to do them. Yeah,
But they will be improved in the roadmaps. Trust me.
I I trust you. Like I believe in that. Yeah. I had some issues with doing painting course because it was a little bit too hard for me at some point. So I lost motivation. So that's definitely, I think, a place where you could improve with roadmaps.
Yeah,
You
we
know?
will.
Yeah. So anyway, again, thank you so much. I'm gonna end the recording now. We can wave bye bye. I will I will stop recording, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna end the call or if I don't. But if I end the call, I tell you bye bye and
All
thank you
right,
again.
sounds good.
But if I don't, we can like still chat for a second.